All righty. So thank you so much, Shawanna, for joining me this morning. And for everyone listening on Clubhouse and on YouTube, I am Beverly Campbell. I'm so fascinated around words. I created this space, Parties by Bev, for like minded people to share words they've created to inspire, make people think, laugh, and enjoy life. Adjust your fascinators if you're wearing one. Grab your tea and enjoy. I'm an activist, author, and catalyst for resisting, resting, and rescuing guilt free rejuvenation. The link to the guide I created will be posted on Clubhouse and YouTube. Also, I'm the owner of Ebony Royal Apparel. Today on Potties by Bev, I have the honor of sharing this moment with Shawanna Kennedy, the queen of owning your shit and the amazing
Amazing
self first
self-first
strategy.
strategy.
I thank
I
you for
thank you for
joining me
joining
today,
me today,
Queen,
Queen,
and
and
blessing the
blessing
people
the
with your
people with your
talents.
talents.
Share with the
Share with the
listeners
listeners
and those
and
who have
those who
joined
have
live
joined live
the title
the
of your
title of
book
your book
and what was
and
the
what was the
catalyst
catalyst
that birthed
that
your book.
the title of this book, and I'm excited to say, one, I have to thank you, Beverly, for even asking me to come to the party. So I'm excited. You guys can't see it, but right now, what I am doing is making sure that Beverly can definitely see because we're doing multiple streaming here. Is celebrating her by, of course, raising my pom pom to Beverly because I really do appreciate what it is that she does, what she brings to even the kingdom and to us as individuals. I love the spirit and not only her entrepreneurship, but she is a powerful and amazing woman. Anybody who's had the opportunity to be in her midst, you know what you get when you see that this is a powerful Black woman. And I want to thank you again for even having me in your space today, right? We got multiple things going on here. So I'm excited. But this particular book is what? Self First, the 5 W's of You. What it does is allow you to move beyond understanding the power of putting yourself first, which was the very first book. This allows you to take steps into doing more of the self work as you position yourself to being your best, being the best that you could possibly be, doing what it is that you get to do. So it's self first, the 5 W's of You. One of the things that even helped to push me in this particular journey, this self first journey, is I understand that I am a gift, right? And understanding that I am a gift, it then lend to the fact of making sure, because I'm definitely a natural born encourager, so I'm grateful that that is something that's definitely a part of me. But knowing that other people needed to know and understand that too and grab a hold to it because we have things that we were created to do, yes, but we are the gift. So part of my mission, part of the things that I know that I'm created to do is to help others be their best possible selves. And the one way to do that is what? By putting yourself first. So the 5 W's of You actually help you to do some of that self work that you needed to be, that is needed to be okay to self motivate, to self encourage, to make it all about you and unapologetically do that. So yeah, I hope that answered your question, Beverly.
Yes, most certainly did. And what do you think is important to acknowledge the person you see in the mirror? Well, why do you think it's important to acknowledge the person that you see in the mirror?
Acknowledging the person in the mirror, because at the end of the day, that's the person you're going to be looking at, is that person in the full glass mirror. When the lights, when lights, camera, action, depending on what walk of life or what business it is that you take part in, you're going to have to be able to look at yourself at the end of the day. So if you're wearing mask and you go to take the mask off, or even for some, I love makeup. Yes, I do, but understanding that the makeup is even an enhancement. It is not to perfect, I honestly believe that we would not be here, right? So everybody have a few things that they need to, could tweak or whatever, but that is called life. It's called growing, right? I believe we're live a life that we can always do more, be greater, right? But then you have to be open to those things that help you to be your best self. And so for me, looking at myself, it's even loving the person that I am today and saying if it is something that I really honestly am not quite settled with, to seeing I get the choice. I'm big on the choice. We get the choice the same way we choose to do everything else we do, the same way we chose to even be in this room today. We get a choice in all of it to be our best self, so that's what matters, because we are the gift. And if you don't take care of the gift of yourself, then others won't appreciate it. I mean, what comes from the heart reaches the heart, and it show up in everything that we do, whether people realize it or not. So you matter. You matter to you. And if you can't face yourself, how do you expect other people to grab a hold of you? Those are part of my thoughts.
Okay. And so for everyone on the Clubhouse end, thank you so much, Shawanna. And everyone on the Clubhouse end, that link is to the top for you to go ahead and purchase Miss Kennedy's book and dig into it so that you can get the full impact of the 5 W's. And so I have a group on Facebook called These Beautiful, Encouraged, Elevated, Empowered Sisters. Can you share with us one of those words, or if you want to do all of them, something that would inspire the listeners today in their life?
Well, whichever be, right? We hope you are busy being the person that you're created to be. How about that? Because there's such thing as being a busy bee and not accomplishing anything. So we're believing that you are being a busy bee and building what is already has your name on it, what is already designed for you. The 5 W's we know often in elementary, going back to grade school. That is the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and then of course some of those lessons come in with experience and deep diving into the how. But it's what is it that you know that you're truly honestly called to do? We have to be okay to say, what is something that I'm drawn to? What is it something that I'm passionate about that I can even do with my eyes closed? I can even do it in my sleep. I can honestly do it even if I didn't get paid to do it. Those are the things that you might want to lean into, and you may want to test those waters to see what is it could possibly be for you. For me, the 5 W's are actually a formula. I consider the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and how in almost everything right about now. Because the who will always be you. Yes, I make sure that people understand of faith, and nothing is above our Creator. It doesn't matter what it is or who it is that you believe in. So I'm never saying that it's above our Creator, because I definitely understand that there is something bigger and greater than me. I'm not so deep into science to say that we just came up out of thin air. The way that we are uniquely and wonderfully made, I know that we had to have something that was much bigger than us. So it's never above that. So let's clear that record and make sure that that is out there up front. But then I believe we were the gift. And before we ever knew who our Creator was, we existed before anybody ever told us the story, before anybody ever, gave us why they feel the way they feel about even their faith. You still were a gift, and we have to remember to embrace ourselves as gifts, right? Because that's sometimes the reason why we even have the relationships that we have, because people don't appreciate the gift of themselves. And so if you don't even appreciate you, I believe it's my own personal belief that I don't believe that you're giving to the world, to yourself, because if you don't appreciate yourself, be okay to know that you can make you a priority. I say put yourself first, right? I say put you back at the top of the to-do list of your own life. What the who, the what, the when, the where. When? We need to be doing it right now. Because when we don't do it now, it show up when? It show up later. I guarantee you, you take a real good look at anybody and you have any type of sense of being, I know, Beverly, you're definitely intuitive and things like that. You can pick up on people who really don't, because of course we can be boastful, of course we can be braggadocious, sure. I'm not talking about that stuff. You can tell when people really does not really operate in self-loving themselves, because then it shows up in those other relationships. So when should you be doing it? Now. Why? Because it's necessary for you. It is necessary for the wealth of your health. There are things you should be doing beyond manicures and pedicures. There are things you should be doing to shift your mindset. There are things you should be doing just to be your best self so you can show up for you first. That's a little bit of part of it. Yeah, right there. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, ma'am, it sure does. And what I love the most when I got a taste during the summit was owning your shift. So,
Yeah.
can you give us a little bit that you can share without giving the whole of the 5 W's away about owning your shift, and also just a little bit of the 5 W's?
Owning your shift is even one of the bigger things for me going into, no, after beyond this pandemic, and we know that there's still a lot to it and still things are going on, right? When I think about the power of putting yourself first, understanding first that we definitely have power. We've been given power. We've been given and granted authority, right? Sure. Even everybody don't know how to take their power back, right? Everybody know how to do that. But as you learn and as you grow to understand that you should be a priority, even with me being a mother. I'm a mother of three. I've been married for over 20 years. God bless him. God bless him, right? He's somewhere in the background, and he can hear me talking because I have a loud voice. But we honor God for that. But even beyond that, he understands that it is imperative that I be my best self, because when I'm my best self, the whole house benefits, right? Your whole world benefits. And part of that, not only taking your power back, the part of that, not only knowing the power of putting yourself first, is you got to own your shift. And that's a nice way of saying you need to own your your sugar honey iced tea. That's a nice way of saying you need to own the shame, the hurt, the guilt, the insecurity, all of those things that those systems that the world have put in place that would have us to hold our own self hostage, have us to hold our own self, and we're handcuffed and we holding the key. How about that? So we need to hold and take ownership of that and acknowledge how we have been some of the cause for a lot of the things that have happened to us. And even if people may have pushed some buttons, may have closed some doors, but we know that there's blessings even behind closed doors. How about that? There's blessings behind closed doors. But we still hold the key to unlock it all because we've been given and granted power and authority to do so. So when owning your shift is you putting your big girl panties on, and if you already got them on, you might want to pull them up a little bit higher. Hello. Pull those suckers up a little bit higher and do the doggone thing. And what we were talking earlier about being the powerful woman that we already are. What is it? Please stand up. It's like it's time for you to stand up in your own self, right? Don't worry about what's behind you, but look forward and press. To keep pressing towards the mark of the prize of the high calling, right? We have been given power, and it's time that we take our power back and own our shit.
Amen. I love that, and I find your book just very just putting yourself first. You have to start there. And so I just love everything, that you've written in your book, everything that you're doing. The self first movement is so amazing because number one, you can't do anything without truth. Because you can, like you were mentioning earlier, you can say anything and everything you want to the world. It's people making billions of dollars with conferences, and all they do is basically curse people out and tell them how horrible they are in certain areas, and you just doling and dishing out money because at the end of the day you haven't found self. And so I just, the link for everybody that want to go ahead and purchase the book is up on the Clubhouse. Let me make sure that I have it here in on the YouTube side. But truth is so important, even with relationships. If you're not being truthful, you can't really have a relationship. We have to be open and honest with one another, just in how we feel, just so many different things. And so I'm honored with you being here today, sharing everything that you've gone through that allowed you to be able to share, your talents and gifts with the world today. And is it anything you want to add on truth?
Well, honestly, the truth, and one of the things I want to make sure that people understand, uh, yeah, I even mentioned it, and the fact that no, a lot of us have we come from humble beginnings, right? That's a nice way of saying we know what it feels like to be in the struggle, live in the struggle, come from down the way, as they say, right? I know what it looks like to feel like to have those as part of things that have been layers of my experience, layer of my story. I even been able to, in these last few years, it's only been less than 17 years where part of my journey was being able to say out loud the fact of me talking about being molested in my primary years, and being able to say it and not even burst into tears, because for a time, just to say it would even cause me to burst into tears. But in part of my owning my shift and knowing that, I already knew that I'm definitely not those experiences. I know, and I make sure people understand that I understand, and I knew that I was never to blame for those things. It was in being able to take those stories, and that's part of owning your shift too, because somebody need what you're going through. Sure. What I even had to realize is some of the things that I went through had nothing to even do with me. That's part of me owning my shift too, is that some of the shifts that we make, they're not even about us. They're about the people that we have been put here to help. We have been graced with the belief and the strength on the inside of us to say that Beverly can handle that. Shawanna can handle that. Ann can handle that. Tasha can handle that. Glo can handle that. That Ann can handle that. We can handle these things. Sometimes it feel like we could possibly at times, depending on how heavy the weight may be, that why would I be chosen to go through something like this? But we were created to do that, which makes our testimony that much bigger. And me, at one time in life, when I said it was no longer about my husband, it was no longer about my kids, is when I'm thinking that I'm just experiencing a Charlie horse, and it wound up being a blood clot. So at that point, it's like, no, I love me. They often laugh at me, but I even tell them, hey, if y'all say Shawanna come up missing, and y'all need to know that somebody did something to me, because I love me.
I know that's right. Amen.
I
Amen.
love me, and I'm not. You better know something that somebody did something to me, because I love me that much. And we should love ourselves like that. We really, really should. And so going through that, experiencing childhood trauma, adult trauma for that matter, and sickness, and understanding that we have an assignment. All of us have an assignment, and we've all been put here for something and for different seasons. And it's like saying, in this season, Lord, whatever you call him, please allow me to my best complete my assignment. Right, because it is truly, I believe, was it Les Brown or Miles Monroe? I really do want to die empty. I want to die empty. I believe my personality and the things that are on the inside of me is so big. I really want to die empty. I don't want to leave nothing here. I don't.
Amen. And I thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people are unable to share the traumas, the childhood traumas, as well as the adult traumas. And I too experienced that. And I believe earlier on, that's where a lot of my anger came from. And a lot of times when you see me smiling, that's authentic, because I've lived in the dark, and I know what it feels like to be angry. And I know what it feels like not to necessarily turn on others because I was a person who I hurt myself more than I hurt anybody else. And but at the end of the day, and also with activism, you can find 99 reasons to be angry and go through life when you're dealing with certain parts of activism. And so I had to use my joy. But in order to get to that joy, I had to dig down deep and see, why are you angry? Why are you mad? And so that's the dirty work. It's fine and well to come on and talk about all of the good things, but you can't even really enjoy the good things in life without self-love, without being in tune with who you are as a person. And just like you said, when you're not in tune with who you are as a person, it's much more easier to write people off. It's much more easier to come up with excuses and blame everyone else, for the things that you're going through in your life. But when you dig deep and you go into the abyss, into the dark, into the traumas, and bring out something that's going to empower you from that and take back, the power of whatever it was that holds you down, that's when you could stand in the light and help someone else. And so I'm just so honored, Shawanna, by you accepting the invite and coming on. And is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up?
One thing I want to add, because I do know we are one of the streams that we're streaming by way. Y'all, Beverly is so cute over here. Y'all need to see Beverly. She is so cute. We know oftentimes when we get to see her, it's usually like some profile picture, but she's so cute. I need y'all to know I am looking at Beverly. She is so cute, and I'm just excited to be able to even share this time with her because of all the people that she could have chosen to be representatives on this and at the Tea Party. She chose me. I'm one of those, so I definitely do not take it lightly. I don't take it for granted that that it was put on her heart that somebody may want to hear this message because they need to know, and that's why we have to be okay to speak up. We have to be okay to use our voices because a lot of times, as you being an activist, we oftentimes have to be the voice for the voiceless so that they know and they can see examples of if she made it out, if he made it out, then I can too. And just we have to hold to those things that we definitely do. And I know that I carry the strength of my ancestors, just like, my children as they get older and the children's children and things like that. I want them to proudly say that she was a part of my lineage. And that's why I am able to stand up because I stand on the shoulders of some mighty people. And I know, and I want to be able to leave that here, that they'll say that I'm a part of the shoulder to somebody else to help somebody else up, because we're definitely, as leaders, we're supposed to be lifting as we climb in this life, not raising each other up. Of course, shining the light on ourselves. Don't allow anybody to dim your light, but be okay to also say, hey, sis, come step in my light, right? You don't have to be in my shadow. I need you to step in this light because we're definitely greater together, and we're demonstrating that today by doing this, Beverly. So thank you for sharing some of your light to allow me to come in your space, right? Because being asked, I've always said, look, be asked up. Don't just show up, be asked up, and don't be so haughty and proud that you just believe or assume that people are going to ask you, because nobody have to ask you to do or be a part of anything. So I want you to know, and I thank you privately, but I want to thank you publicly for choosing me to be a part of this Tea Party, this recording, for the people that may even hear it or see it even on replay, because there's definitely something for you. So if you don't know her, get to know her and whatever it is that she's doing and being a part of. You may just want to throw a seed her way just to bless her endeavors, because it takes more than just prayers and post likes and things like that. It definitely takes money to run the world. Let's just say that, because money gives us influence. So if anybody just want to, this is the season. This is November. This is the season of giving. I know nonprofits, this is a big month for nonprofits, but hey, y'all don't even have to give my book. Matter of fact, give the money to, that's what y'all do. give the money to Beverly and just, say, hey, we donate this on behalf of Shawanna. I mean, it's coming from you, but on behalf of Shawanna. Bless her. Bless the efforts that she do in her rescue and reset and rise and the things that she do for the community, because it is definitely needed. So I appreciate you, Beverly. Thank you. And I thank y'all for, choosing to stop by to check out this conversation and to listen in, because it's needed, and we need to be okay to do this together, because we're definitely greater together. And I'm greater because of you allowing me this time with you. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and I have to let you know too. Y'all saw me. Well, y'all didn't see me. She saw me shake my pom pom, but it means power over mindset and power over me. What that means is power over mindset, power over me. So when I cheer for you, I'm also challenging you to own your shift, take your power back, make you a priority, and put yourself first.
Amen. I thank you so much for that. I do have my link up for my guide, Resist, Rescue, Rest. And I thank you, Miss Tasha and Sean, Glow, and Paulette for joining us on the Clubhouse side. And if you could please, Shawanna, please let everyone know where they could reach you and how they could be a part of this Self First movement.
Thank you, Beverly. Shawanna Kennedy, or Shawanna K says on Instagram, but if you just actually even as they say on TV, Google Shawanna Kennedy, you'll see several ways to actually connect with me and come be a part of the Self First movement. It's all about us getting in there and helping each other. Because something that I may share, but it could be something, a message that you possibly could share, that somebody needs to hear something from you to know that they're not in this alone, because everybody have a down day, and you could be just that person that posts, say a comment, click a like, put a smile to help make somebody's day, because it is about us, but it's also being our better self so that we can show up for others, because they may need that strength that we have in that particular day. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on, for jumping in. This has been amazing. Again, you can't see it, but I carry a big old pom-pom, and that's because I cheer for you, but I challenge you to put yourself first and do what it is that you have been called to do. Thank you again, Beverly. Thank you so much.
And thank you everyone for joining us in on the Clubhouse side. For everyone that'll watch the replay. And did you want to stay on a little bit for Clubhouse, or are you ready to end it and we call it a day?
Is whatever you want to do. If you even want to, if this your show, I'm here for you. I set this time aside, and if this your party, look, you just invited me to the party. How we partying the rest of the day?
Well, let me get a little sip. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and shut it down on StreamYard, and we'll just continue on Clubhouse. Thanks for joining, everybody. Have a good rest of the day, and remember, self first.